Love Island All Stars Season 3 Episode 8 and Jess is greeting again. She causes the problems and then she greets. I'm bored. Last night there was a whole situation at the fire pit between Shaq and Whitney and Jess and Whitney. Whitney felt as if everybody was ganging up on her. It continued over to the night. Shaq was saying he thought him and Whitney were friends but she didn't have his back. Whitney was saying she thought her and Jess was friends but she didn't have her back. And it was just blah, 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 blah. I was like, I can't be fucked with any of this. Then Kieran and Scott were having a conversation about it, saying Whitney got mixed up between character and characteristics. I was just bored, honestly. So Jack was chatting to the boys and he says, I don't know if Whitney's the one for me because I'm not into drama and I don't want to get involved in situations like that. So then Tommy said, yeah, girls like that like their men to stick up for them and get involved. That is absolutely wrong information. Not true whatsoever. I've found myself in dramatic situations many times. Not only do I not want my man to stick up for me, I don't need him to stick up for me. Actually, I don't need anybody to stick up for me, I can do it myself. But not only that, I would suggest that my man stays away. Because if he gets involved and then somebody turns around and says, you're this, you're that, calls him a name, I will fucking lose it, right? Call me whatever you want, be nasty to me, swear at me, whatever. But if he's getting involved and you're turning on him, shit's got to get crazy. So Tommy doesn't have a fucking clue what he's talking about. So anyway, Jack pulled Whitney for a chat and he was saying, oh, I don't really know, like, if you're the one for me. So then Whitney was like, right, charge it. I actually hate it when she says that, right? I know quite a lot of people who say it, but that's just the way she speaks and that's it. So then Jack says, oh, do you want an explanation? And Whitney says no and she walked away, right? Now Jack says, oh, I think she was quite immature about it. You've wasted enough of your time. You've told her she's not the one for you. Why does she need to sit there? She doesn't need an explanation, she doesn't care. You don't want involved in drama, you don't want to stick up for her, whatever. Okay, bye. I mean, it didn't even say, did you want me to get involved? Or do you feel like I should have got involved? Or do you think I should have stuck up for you? He just assumed. He just made an assumption. And to be honest, I don't think Whitney's sitting there thinking, oh, I need Jack Keaton to stick up for me. Fuck off, Jack. Connor doesn't seem bothered by the drama whatsoever. He pulls her for a chat, still seems interested. Jess then apologised to Whitney and said, oh, I know it wasn't really me that was the problem. I know that there was a thing going on between you and Shaq and I was caught in the crossfire. Absolutely not one fucking bit of self-awareness whatsoever. And I loved the fact that Whitney says, no, babe, you were the problem. I was like, yes. Yes, Whitney. Fucking get her tail. And you know what? She didn't even say it in an aggressive way. She wasn't even nasty about it. She wasn't even dramatic about it. It was just like, no, you're the problem. So then Jess was like, oh, maybe I should have read the room. Aye, Jess, maybe you should have fucking read the room. Whitney's right, not everything has to be banter fucking 24/7. So then obviously what does Jess do? Oh, I feel as if I'm a shit friend. And the girls are like, no, babe, you're not a shit friend. You're a fucking shit friend. You sat there and you found well that Whitney didn't want you to say that she'd forgot Connor's name, as if it's a massive deal. And then she says to her several times, right, that's enough. And she's just like, fuck off, Jess. When she was sitting having that conversation with Whitney, how many times did she have to say, that's enough, right, okay, that's enough, right, okay, that's enough? And she was just sitting there with a big fucking stupid smile on her face, knowing fine well what she was doing and winding her up. And I'm glad Whitney turned around and says, no, babe, you're the problem. So they get a text and there's a delivery from eBay, more sponsorship money. So they're getting sponsorship money, they're getting money for competition entries, they're getting money for views and adverts. Yeah, they still can't put money towards having proper competitions and tasks, and they're still just sitting there playing Never Have I Ever and Truth or Dare. Where's the money going? We need fun games and challenges. So they're unwrapping their eBay package and then two bombshells arrive and I thought it was going to be Ronnie and I'm thinking, I'm turning it off. I'm not in the mood for a fucking stupid ass fucking skis bag London geezer. I can't be fucked with him. He's got not one redeeming quality. But it was Curtis and Lucinda. Perfectly happy with that. I think Lucinda is stunning. Tommy was the first one to pull Lucinda for a chat. He's obviously sitting there thinking, right, I'm not in a couple. I'm vulnerable here. But not only that, right, but Lucinda is actually stunning. After that, she was chatting with Jack, and I don't know who pulled who for a chat because I wasn't paying attention. But Whitney was looking over saying, oh, he says he wants somebody who's not dramatic and who's quiet, and that's not Lucinda. And if you've watched her past seasons, and if you've seen her on Love Island USA, you will know that she is the drama. Now, is she as bad as Whitney? No, but she's certainly not quiet, and she doesn't take any shit, and she's not just going to sit and keep her mouth shut. Curtis pulled Millie for a chat, and she was quite happy with this whole situation. She was saying that she thinks Curtis is better looking in real life, and she was happy that he pulled her. Now, I forgot to mention earlier, but Scott was talking to somebody, and he was saying, I know Millie likes me, I don't know if the connection's got to be more than me and Leanne, but we're probably not going to find out unless we chat or whatever, right? And I just feel as if that whole situation has came out of nowhere. But obviously we only see it for an hour a night, so what the fuck do we know? I know a lot of people out there don't like Curtis because they think he's like slimy and they think he's creepy or whatever. I actually really like him. Overall, I think this episode wasn't too bad. I just wasn't invested in the argument. I'm glad that's over. Let me know, are you happy to see Curtis and Lucinda? What did you think of tonight's episode? And is Love Island on tomorrow? They didn't say it was, so maybe I'll see you again on Sunday. Bye!